Hello everyone, my name is Steve TV Online, and I am going to be submitting Mrs. Cat Between Worlds All Crystals to the Marathon. This is a really fun category. It shows that you can get a 100% all collectibles sort of game within a very short time frame, and I'm going to be showing it off. We're going to be playing through Mrs. Cat Between Worlds. Includes both Mrs. Cat in Mars and Mrs. Cat in Neptune, which can be collected separately, but I'm going to be going through both of them as quickly as possible. There isn't really any tricks that are involved with this game, but I'm just going to be going through it without there's a couple of them, and all the routing that you see and tricks, if there are any, were found by me because I'm the only active runner of this game. So timing will begin the second that I hit A on level 0 here. In 3, 2, 1, go. So right here, Mrs. Cat is just flying along in her spaceship when all of a sudden she runs out of power. And when she runs out of power, she falls down onto Mars, and we have to collect all the crystals in order to get the ship started back up. So right away, you're not going to see any gimmicks until you get into the third level of this, and that gimmick, which is going to follow throughout the entirety of In Mars, is that the spikes will show up for just like a couple of seconds, and then they'll fade away, and you just have to remember where they are. And since I've played this game enough, I know exactly where those are. And then we get into our first crystal, and our first crystal is all the way up at the left. We're gonna just go out of our way really quick to grab that and go back over. Then we go into our next gimmick, which is these falling thwomp blocks. I'm going to make that reference later on in a later level, like it's Mario. So, one thing about the invisible stuff is you can actually see them again if you hit one of those potions that are up there. But most of the time in these early levels, I know exactly where I need to jump in order to do it. And then another thing to know is most of the time if you run to the right, then you are going the right direction. There's going to be a couple levels where you have to go the opposite direction. But you'll see me like not move right away because there are some levels that I have to figure out where I am in order to get correct cycles. Alright, so now we have the thwomp blocks plus these falling blocks where if you touch them, they disappear. And then we get this, this is a weird crystal, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump over. You saw me jump instead of just walking over there because there's actually spikes over there. So now we're going to go over here, we're going to jump up here, we're going to dodge out of the way again, and then we're going to get this, we're going to take a step right there, and then we're going to dodge that. Perfect. So now we get invisible saws, that's the word I'm looking for, saws. And we're going to go all the way over here, and we're going to wait for a second, then we can jump, wait, jump again, go all the way through. Perfect. So now we're going to go all the way over here, jump over, and get up here to get this crystal. Awesome. Now I needed that. But this is all crystals. It's not all collectibles, and even if it was all collectibles, it's just the same game. And people ask, well, why don't you collect all those potions? Well, it's not mandatory. So right here is my favorite gimmick. It doesn't last like super long in the game, so we're gonna wait a second. Then we're gonna go. Now we're gonna jump up. If we would have went right away, we would have actually got caught by the spike. A lot of these are like close spike situations. We're gonna get very close in a lot of some of these levels, not just here, but also in Neptune. So another thing that I want to point out is that if I die in the game, if this gets chosen, I will donate $1 per death with a minimum of $20 throughout both games. So I need to make sure I know where this is, and this is actually my favorite platforming section in the entire game, just to do that. Now I had to wait a second there just to see where I was. Perfect. Sometimes you just have to trust Mrs. Cat and the cycle that you're on in order to run or not. Okay, so this is one of the levels to the left that I definitely had to make sure I knew where I was. So now we're going to go into here, we're going to wait, we're going to go down here. There's that spike and go down. Then we get the gimmick of these jump pads. These can be both detrimental and helpful for you. So like in this one, they help you out right away, but then if you decide to jump on those spikes, then you would end up getting stabbed. Oops. So there's our death. That would have been $1. Cool. This is the harder one of the... Perfect. So that was actually perfect cycling with what we needed. Then we get this level, which is one of the harder casual levels to play. Perfect. We got that first try. Let's go. Now we get onto this level. This level took forever for me to learn a pathing that I want done. So this is going to go all the way over there. Then we're going to jump all the way over here, and we got it first try. Let's go. Then we get into this. These moving blocks are my worst enemy. I overthink them all the time. So if you see me like kind of like just like take it slow, it's because I'm freaking out. And for some reason, I find this the hardest gimmick in the entire game for some reason. There we go. We're going to stand over here. That way we won't get hit by those spikes. Then we're going to reverse that in the next area here and actually stand over to the left to not get hit by the spikes. Oh, you don't want to go too far over. There we go. And go. Perfect. So this is one of the harder levels of the game casually. But you just have to know when to jump and do everything here. Woo! Mrs. Cat. Awesome. Let's go. Alright, so now we get another gimmick here, and this gimmick is the lasers that follow you. They will always be in the same spot, so as long as you know where you're going, then you won't need to worry. So that's the only way to get through that. It's a very scary jump. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to... Oh, man, I fell. Let's try this again. There we go. We're going to attract that so we can get down here. We're going to wait for those spikes. We're going to go all the way over here. Then we're going to do a little bit of a trick right there. That's one of the few tricks that I actually found in that game. You can actually jump up there instead of having to go up the other way and wait a little bit longer. So we're going to jump, jump. Perfect. Got that first try. Then we get to the final gimmick of the game, and that is the following cat. It's kind of like a Boo where it constantly follows you, but if you look at it, this time it won't actually freeze. It just continues walking, so you just have to get out of the way of the cat. It's constantly moving, so even if you stop to try and figure out how to get past the puzzle, then you're just out of luck because the cat will come and get you. So here's the final crystal of in Mars. Oh gosh, I don't know what happened there, but this is also the final level of in Mars. Then we're going to go into in Neptune. So finishing up this one, we're going to go into here, and then we're going to back out, and we're going to go to quit. We're going to go back in really quick because there is no way to go into a menu. We're going to sign in. We're going to go to Mrs. Cat in Neptune, and this is actually my better of the levels. I love Mrs. Cat in Neptune. It's super fun to play. And it's actually going to take... It's actually going to take some inspiration from a little tiny indie game that I think some people have heard of. And you're going to see it here in this next level. It kind of looks like, I believe it's an indie game called Celeste, I believe, including this dashing. But all jokes aside, I'm not good at Celeste, but for some reason I'm good at this game. So, a lot of the, couple of gimmicks of this one, obviously, are the very beginning ones. And also, I didn't do it until I started, like, running the game. I didn't realize, but, Mrs. Cat is a little bit slower in this game than she is in, than she is in Mars. So, I'm not sure if it's the gravity that would be on Neptune compared to Mars. If that's what the gimmick is about that. But this is actually one of my... Okay. One of my favorite levels in this... in Neptune. I don't know how I died there, but that's fine. Oh my gosh. Come on, Mrs. Cat. So we're gonna go dash through there, then we're just gonna bounce up. Very simple. Get over here. Dash over the giant spike. Or... saw. So, you're gonna start noticing a bunch more spikes coming on screen, or stuff coming on screen in this game compared to the last one. But as long as you know the patterns, they're not super difficult. So here we go, over here, all the way up here, perfect. So that one has to be up, and this one has to be up. That one also has to be up, and it's not as scary once you know that. So we're gonna go all the way up here, do that, and then, ooh, don't fall. Cool. So this one looks a little bit scary too, but if you don't dash or do anything there and just continue on, you will not get hit. Up again, then go through. Then this one you actually have to jump in the middle of those, because also, for one, you have to wait for this cycle of that. And then we just have to wait in order to not get hit. We're going to go all the way up, fall down, get through. Oh, that's not good. There we go. Let's go through this time. So right there, we have to go there on that little tiny platform in order to get through. Then we're going to go all the way up here, get that, then fall down, and then dash through. Perfect. Get through to the end. And now, speaking of going slow in order to go fast, we are going to wait for that. This is the, it can potentially be the hardest level because you can fall. But right here, this is a fun level. So you're just going to dash there and trust the dash. If you don't, you will not make that almost every single time. So we're going to dash, dash. And then there is a way to get a little bit faster way. You don't have to jump on both of them like I just did right there. Perfect. Let's go. All the way over here. And up here. Awesome. Now this one, we actually do have to do some jumping. If you just jump normally, you can make it all the way over. And then if this wasn't like Celeste enough, they give us these little blocks here that allow for you to gain your dash back. There isn't any tricks with it. I wish there were. Ah, crap, I messed up. Okay. So let's try this again. So you can do this, and you can jump all the way over and then down. There we go. Now this is the hardest crystal to collect in the entire game. There we go. You have to collect the crystal, for one, then you have to make it through the right way. Like that. There we go, perfect. So now we have to wait for that to go up before we dash all the way over here. Then we're gonna go. Perfect. The two hardest levels inside of in Neptune are now done. And we can continue on with these spike balls. So this is one of the harder ones. So I actually look at the middle spike ball on that one. That would have been good. Oh my gosh. So I am not a fan of this level alone. Because I actually don't have a way to actually get through that one very simply. I don't like have a pattern because it always manages to be different for me for some reason, it feels like. And now we go into falling these stomping blocks here. The first ones are very simple. All you have to do is just jump through. Then we get this one. We have to wait for a cycle anyway. And right when they're together, like this one, this is when we're going to go all the way over here and get there. It looks scary, but that's the best way to do that one. I cannot find another cycle to do that besides the one that I just did there. So then we go into these. We can just dash through the solid ones, and we have to the ones that have X's on them actually send out spikes. So that goes into fun levels like this where we have to try and run away from everything. Then we have this one. This can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Perfect. Awesome. First try on that. Then we have this one. So these blocks, you want to make sure, in order to get the dash, you're a little bit lower on it. Otherwise, it won't count. So we're actually almost, we're getting really close to the end of this. So this is like the last level before we get to the end. We have one more crystal to collect, and timing will be coming up in 3, 2, 1, time. So, that was Mrs. Cat Between Worlds All Crystals. This game is so much fun. It's very cute. It's very fast to get all the collectibles. It can be run on any percent and 100%. Both of them have, or all collectibles, whatever, all crystals. They both have the same amount of, basically the same amount of time, so just adding on from an incentive makes it a perfect game for it, because you won't have to rearrange anything for this to be done. But anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. This is a fun game. I love to run it, and I hope to see it chosen for the marathon. Thank you.